Oh, well. Hope everybody is, it's a Friday. Hope everybody's got a good weekend planned. What time is it? 10:01. Oh, we've still got plenty of time. A few minutes for people to jump on. Will I just make things pretty for you all? Don't really know if that's my forte, but I'm giving it a go for everybody. Right. 5:02. Oh, yes, a few people. Kia ora, kia ora. So, just I may as well say it now. I've got a few people, and we are recording this, but it's just for other leads to pick up on the info that we're talking about, not really to go anywhere else. So feel free to say anything and everything you feel you need to. Yeah, we do have a few apologies today, just because of the time of year. I think it's quite busy, and we did also, have the peer session and facilitating change this week, so it's been a busy week for everybody. But I have created a web PowerPoint for us today, so I might even just bring that up. I'm just completely blanking on how to even share. Good view of that. Here we go. Now we all know what we're at, just in case we were confused. Cool. 10:03. Look, we may as well just jump in. We have quite a lot on the agenda today, and I will bring the agenda up, but after I've allocated about 20 minutes for a bit of whakawhanaungatanga, but I will jump in with a karakia, unless anybody else wanted to have a beautiful one for a Hawke's Bay rainy morning anyway. Easy. I will go. Oh, now I don't know what I've done. There we go. Okay, so I've got my opening karakia. So I've got tu taua mai I runga, tu taua mai I raro, tu taua mai I waho, tu taua mai I roto. Kia tau ai, te mauri tū, te mauri ora, ke te katoa, haumie, huie, taikie. Okay, so I have put my agenda on here for us to all see. Have just rearranged the timing of this sort of first wee portion here a little bit, just to lock it in. And I might have added a wee thing there, but so just to start with, let's go around and do a bit of whakawhanaungatanga, kōrero, so probably most of us know each other, but it'll be nice to just do a wee reminder and, what are we celebrating? What are our highlights? And because this is our last Leads agenda for the year, so I thought I'd do a bit of, what is everybody doing over the holiday season? Are you taking some time off? I will stop sharing that just while we do this so I can see everybody's faces. So kia ora, ko Patria Falcona Toka Wingwa. I'm fairly certain I know everybody here, but I am Patria and I am the Healthcare Home Change Lead at Collaborative Aotearoa. I've got my thing here. I at the moment am in the Hawke's Bay with my sister, and it is raining, which is sad, but that is okay. We need rain. So probably I've been, in the collaborative for a couple months now, and it's been great. So I'm just doing my sort of highlights. Like reconnecting with all of the leads has just been amazing, and coming to visit, I think nearly everybody, over the past couple months has been just so much fun. Like, seeing where you work, just seeing people in person, it's been really good. So that has sort of been my highlight of my time in here. And then just, being able to sort of continue with the work and help practices and help you guys with your practices. Just, I really enjoy it, and I just love connecting with you and just being able to help, in areas that, I've worked in myself, which is amazing. So over the Christmas period, we are doing a shutdown. So I will be heading down south in a couple of weeks to spend the Christmas and New Year's with my family down in Invercargill and Gore. Don't hold it against me. I'm trying to avoid Gore as much as possible, but I will be in Invercargill on Christmas. Not much planned while I'm down there to spend some quality time with the fam. And then actually, I do have a trip to Melbourne in January booked, which I'm quite excited. I'm going to the Australian Open. So that is sort of my highlights and what I've been up to over the next couple of weeks. So let us just go around. I'm just going to go what's on my screen. And Jazz, you're up there in the top corner.
Thanks, Patria. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Jazz aho. I think all of you know me. I'm the program director for the collaborative team, and that's really tough to follow, Patria. That's such an exciting time. Mine's just really, really boring. So for me, it is a time to mark endings and prepare myself for new beginnings. So I'm spending time with my children. This year I lost my father this year, and so I'll be remembering him especially. So so every ending is a new beginning. So I'm looking forward to hanging out. And also my middle son is finishing school, so he has one more exam. So he's ending his school life and beginning a new life as a young man. So so it is a time of time to take stock and look ahead. So what else? I'm looking forward to some warmth. It is 11 degrees in Wellington, in Lower Hutt today. 3 days ago, it was 25 degrees. So I don't know what's happened to the weather. So I'm hoping the sun will come back, but I hope the sun's shining where the rest of you are. So thank you. So I'm going to pass it arco to Marianne, because you're next on my screen.
Kia ora koutou. I'm Marianne Clewett. I'm the GP Services Lead, NHH Lead and Regional NHH Coordinator for Te Tai Tokoro. So I work with quite closely with my colleagues from ProCare, Sarah and Elizabeth from Comprehensive Care, because they have practices in our region. I've been around in this space for a while now. It's been a few years. I feel like an old dog in it, to be honest. Holidays. I've got a holiday to Melbourne next Saturday for 10 days with my husband. We're going over there to have, from my side of the whānau, a reunion, and to also meet some new whānau members that I didn't know I had until I did an ancestry DNA. So I encourage everyone to do that at the end of the day. So I'll be able to tell you all the good spots, Petra.
That is exciting.
I know, I'm really looking forward to it. That's basically a celebration because I completed my Masters of Nursing on the 12th of November. So it's been a long, hard slog. So I'm glad to have that behind me. And my team is grateful that I've got that behind me as well, because apparently I'm much nicer now. So for Christmas, we shut down here at Mahitahi, as I'm sure most PHOs kind of do. And my two daughters will be coming up, one with her partner of 11 years, and we are just going to have whānau time, and we're just going to relax and enjoy the sunshine, and hopefully enjoy as much sunshine as the world will give us, and we'll have a nice hot summer, and we can sit on our deck and we can go to the beach. And I agree with you, Jazz. It's a time to kind of let things go and start fresh. And I really look forward to that time of year, because it was always my father, who has since passed away, his favourite time of year, and we always celebrate it with rigour. And this year it's kind of like, letting go of the year that we've just had, which has been a hard year for us as the whānau, but stepping into 2024 with lots of travel planned and lots of great things. And my youngest, who went off to university this year, has her second year at university next year, and they do really well, Jazz. He'll be fine once he leaves the nest. But yeah, it's great to see you all, and looking forward to the kōrero today. Who's next on my screen? I've got lots of people. Lovey.
Morena koutou katoa, mihi ana ki a koe Patria mō tō karakia a whakatūwhera a kei te mihi, kei te mihi. Koe rā tēnei te mihi atu ki a Jazz e te rangatira, kia ora mai tātou katoa. Anō, kia ora mai tātou, ki a kōrua i a P-Mans, Michelle, rawa ko Mary, nau mai hoki mai I tēnei hui, kia ora mai tātou katoa. Ko Waiau, ko Tauranga te moana, ko Tauranga te whenua, ko Piri rākau rawa ko Tamapahaore tuku tūranga waiwai, ko Rangi rawa ko Paru uku tipuna, ko Lavi rā te Marapson tuku ingoa, me mahi ana ahau I a Pegasus Health PHO, kai whakahaere I a Practice Relationship Manager, Team Lead, kia ora. Good morning everyone. Just firstly, just acknowledged our Patria, who opened us up with karakia this morning, and then our leader, Jazz, in this space as well. And then equally acknowledging our practice managers and administrators of New Zealand, Michelle and Mary, just welcoming them into this hui. And so I'm originally from Tauranga, work here in Christchurch for Pegasus PHO. And again, similar to Mary Ann, just looking forward to this kōrero today. Nō reira, ko motu ake kōrero, kia ora. And I will hand over to Renee Ward.
Morena koutou everyone, ko Renee Ward toka ingoa, teaming you from beautiful Blenheim, 30 degrees yesterday, might I add, beautiful. Look, what's exciting, I guess, is work-wise, I guess, change of role. So program development facilitator I have been for probably the past couple of years, and just transitioning to program coordinator of clinical services. So that probably, it's an evolving space and quite excited about that, but still in the healthcare home space, which, you know, obviously very happy with. And I guess Christmas, yeah, I'm boring as well, Jazz, like I'm just home, you know, nothing too exciting. As long as I don't get any sick kids, I think that's a win. It's a win-win for me. Kia ora, from one Renee to another.
Kia ora koutou katoa te whānau. My name is Renee, ko Renee Aho, and I am the Priority Coordinator for the Wanganui Regional Health Network. I feel that this coming up to next week, it'll be 12 months of being in this role, so it's quite a new role for me, and I felt like I've really developed it with the help of everyone at the collaborative. So ngā mihi nui once again, Jazz, Patria and John Tell and Lovey for developing myself into this role, because I had no clue, but now I'm on my way, so it's been such a blessing. So what I will be doing for my Christmas holidays, I don't actually celebrate Christmas. I just hang out with the whānau and we just do our thing, but it's not really a big idea of celebrating something special. We just get on with it. We just keep planning for next year, and we will celebrate our Christmas in Matariki Puanga. So that's me for now. Ngā mihi, and I will pass the mori on to Rebecca.
Morena tātou, ana mihi o te rā, ko Rebecca Taku Ingoa, ki hauora mātua o te tai arariri ahau I mahi ana. So I'm the Primary Health Manager at Nelson Bays Primary Health. I'm sorry, it's got really noisy. They're all excited and got giddy for some reason. So things to celebrate. I'm really privileged to work in a very cool team that when you forget your glasses at home and cannot see anything on your screen, they all open their drawers and they find me appear and you're not blurry. So that's quite exciting. And pleased that that's how we roll, which is great. For me, coming up over this holiday season, hoping to get to Germany to visit whānau there, which we haven't managed to do in 3 years. So that's quite exciting, and it it'll be different because there are people missing from our lives now. So it'll be a bit of a change going over and seeing and experiencing that from which we didn't manage to do from afar. You know, I know these are great things to celebrate and highlight, but I just have to acknowledge the busyness in general practice and the effects that has on our teams, working both in primary health, and Michelle and Marie, is it Marie somewhere on here? I can't see you anymore. Mary, sorry. You'll be hearing it too, I'm sure, in your space as well. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. But that's all from me. Sorry, forgot to pass the baton. Olivia.
I mean, I started talking and I was on mute too.
Kia ora koutou, ko Olivia Madoa Leahi toku ingoa. I am the Provider Network Lead Māori at Health Hawke's Bay. Something that I'm grateful for is that we have a beautiful new CEO that's joined us from Pegasus, which we're really happy about. We've got Iri Hapati Mahuika with us, and she's been off to a roaring, I think, 3-week start. We feel really blessed to have her here, an amazing leader to guide us in this next journey. And what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to catching up with my whānau this year. So we alternate between our whānau and my husband's side, and it's our year this year. My mum's brought a beautiful little lifestyle block in Dannyburg, so moved from Gizzy, which was a big change for her. She's got lots of farm animals, and we're really looking forward to coming together as a whānau and just having that time together, because we don't get to get together enough, I guess, these days. And I've got some whānau coming up from Invercargill. Yeah, nice, Patria. And of course, I'm here in Hawke's Bay with Patria, who's about, what, 30 minutes away from me. So yeah, welcome to Hawke's Bay again, Patria. I know we caught up yesterday. Sorry that we couldn't put on some sunshine for you while you were here with your sister.
Yeah, yesterday was so nice and we were talking about it. And then today I was like, oh, no, that's gone now.
Yeah, it was nice.
I thought you were going to apologise for not extending an invitation to hang out with me tonight.
Yes, well, we've got our staff do on tonight. Patria might get invited. We'll see.
It's been casually dropping, like, not even hints, just being like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I said if anybody had, their partner at the last minute couldn't make it, I said that I was available, that ring-in partner.
We've got you on the books.
Perfect.
Yeah, kia ora koutou. I will pass it on to
Olivia, sorry to interrupt. Do you know that your camera is off? Was that intentional? It's just I loved seeing your beautiful face.
Oh, so I've got two my work colleague's standing because she doesn't want to pass by me as well. Oh, I've got two cameras, and thanks for pointing that out, Jazz. Hang on. Okay. That's working now, isn't it? I can see a light. Yeah. I've got a couple of screens. So yeah, kia ora. Thanks, Jazz. And I'll pass on to me.
Good morning, kia ora everyone. I am Nee Brunenberg. I've just joined the collaborative Aotearoa. It's day 5 for me. For those who don't know me, I had worked at Toward a Compass in Amelia's team, who I can't see today. And lovely to be here, lovely to see some familiar faces. But yeah, it's day 5 as change lead in digital health. So I'll be working alongside Patria. And hopefully meeting with you guys shortly, because yeah, I'd like to jump in some of the catch-ups that she'll have with you in the future. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I have a 13-year-old, so we are making her come camping with us these holidays, so that's my highlight. So no devices, out in the what-wats. We're going to start at Opunaki, and then we're going to go down past maybe Hawke's Bay and then down back to Wairarapa. So yeah, that's my highlight. Who else hasn't? Isan, I'll pass it over to you.
Kia ora koutou, ko Ethan Tassine tōku ingoa. I'm the Network Sustainability Manager at Think Haora, which I can see a few kind of reactions on the camera because we're getting we're also getting a new CEO, so the lovely Amajit Maxwell, in the next few weeks. So it's kind of all go, but then there's a little bit of a change at the same time, which we're excited for here. So I'm involved in a few different bits and pieces. There's a few new faces on the call that I haven't connected with. But healthcare home, I originally started as a healthcare home lead, and so I still like to be involved in this forum as well. So I missed the starting, but I think it was something to do with what's the plans over Christmas, isn't it? Yeah. Plans over Christmas was so I recently got married about 6-7 months ago now. Time's flying past. So we were going to go on a bit of a honeymoon, but then it ended up being a little bit too expensive over the Christmas period. So we deferred to February, where it's a little bit cheaper. So probably just hanging around Palmerston North and go and see some family up in Auckland. Might make it a bit of a road trip. And yeah, that's kind of from me.
Where are you going on your honeymoon?
Well, I don't know if I would call it a honeymoon, but we're aiming to do a few different trips. So we're keen to go to Turkey in about June next year, but we've got a trip in Gold Coast for about a week in February. So yeah, looking forward to it. A bit of sunshine, a bit of warmth.
Yeah, doing it in February rather than Christmas is probably not going to be as hot, which might be quite nice.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's what I've heard. So yeah, no, looking forward to it. And Patricia, I'll just have to leave at 10:45. I've got another commitment, but I did want to join the forum.
Amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Now, I do just want to, let Michelle and Mary introduce themselves, and they will be, helping me with our next agenda. So you two introduce yourself, and then I'll keep going.
Like I'm first. Morena koutou, ko Michelle Te Kira tōku ingoa, kai whakahaere tūranga nui Kiwa 3 Rivers Medical. My highlight of the year is I actually have more time now because I've stepped down off many executive national boards after 6 years, and I actually stained my fence last night because I actually have a life now, so I'm really enjoying that. This year for Christmas, I'm having a staycation. Apparently, we're meant to go from the beautiful storm that's looming that I can see outside my window to a massive drought. So in Gizzy, we're actually looking forward to a drought because we're absolutely over 2 years of rain. We all suffer PTSD every time it rains here at the moment. And this time last year, I was actually in Europe for 8 weeks for Christmas. So kind of wish I was back there, but I'm actually heading on another big trip around Europe in June, July next year because I have a life now, Mary, because I've now handed my old role over to Mary, so it gives me a lot of time, but very excited to be here. Nice to connect with people I haven't met. Yeah, kia ora. Thanks for having us, Patricia and Jazz. Mary.
Kia ora.
Kia ora everyone, ko Mary Morrissey tōku ingoa. I am the current chair, thank you very much Michelle. I am a practice manager in Taranaki, and because you're all talking about the weather, I actually thought I better look out the window and see what it's like here, and it's looking black, so it started off nicely, but we might be getting a bit of a messy weather today. Christmas plans, nothing much. Just moved into a new house, so it'll be a first Christmas in the new house. Way smaller, trying to figure out where to put the Christmas tree. But no, very much a staycation in Taranaki. And nice to see some new faces and catch up with everyone.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. Sounds like we've got, that everybody is looking forward to their time off, which is good. Now, just want to say, thank you to Michelle and Mary for coming on from, I'm just sort of doing blanket PMANs. So we have discussed before, our next agenda item is the Practice Manager's Manual. So we did bring this up sometime earlier this year that during my time at Well South, we had created a Practice Manager's Manual, and then we sort of brought it into the collaborative and we've shared it with PMANs, and we have done, a collaborative effort to sort of turn it into a template and then to add a bit more content, make it quite well-rounded. And we are very happy to essentially, it's ready to release to the masses. So what we will be doing is that I will share that template with all of our, healthcare home leads and, member PHOs, and then we will be putting it into the wonderful hands of PMANs to have as a resource to go out to other PHOs through the country and to practice managers. And the reason we sort of, this has come up, and PMANs have sort of been looking at doing very similar thing, but it's such a massive document that I think it's actually worked really well to get a couple of people to come in and put that content in, is because, as we all know, there's a lot of staff turnover within PHO and general practice. So what I noticed when I was down south is that when I was in PHO, that the practice managers come on, but quite often there'll be the gap and there wasn't really that sharing of knowledge. So we've created this bit of a template. So I will share so we can have I'll just quickly give a run through of, what it looks like. So you're sort of prepared, and let you guys know what's in it. So this is it here, which is amazing. So we've got, that it's with Well South, the collaborative, and PMANs. Oh, I think I'm a scrolling one. And so I'm just going to quickly just scroll through just so you can see what we're looking at. So we have kind of done a bit of a contents, and this is for, ideally, the PHO will populate with their personal regional information and then put it out to their practice managers. So I've highlighted in yellow kind of the areas we think, need to be changed, because I had personal sort of Well South information in there. And something that I definitely noticed as a practice manager was the commonly used acronyms. There's hundreds of them. And I spent half my time Googling. So I was like, okay, cool, chuck these in here. Yeah, so we've just all sort of worked together, added more as we've got it. This is obviously, once you have this in your possession, you can, add or sort of delete the things that aren't appropriate. A great explanation of how it all works, which is fantastic, and sort of what each area is involved in. Then your, reports, programs within, the country and the PHO. So yeah, just sort of like, obviously I've got Thalamus in there because that was what we used in Well South. And just, foundation, cornerstone, health point, MPS. And this is hopefully should be, they can just have all that information, refer back to it. And even like established practice managers, it's still a really useful resource. And Mary and Michelle, if you've got comments while I'm going through here, feel free to jump in, but I will pass on to you with any comments that, what we're planning to do with this moving forward. Funding streams, which is great, because quite often that's what we notice is like, you start in the practice and there's, they're not always constant. Some things sort of pop up, some don't. Other payments from Te Whare Order, ACC, types of staff training, which is great. I love that this is in here. And then we did a bit of what staff meetings would we recommend that you perhaps do, and that might be done elsewhere. Enrollment, it's quite lengthy, bit of national enrollment, and this is great, got PMANs in there. And then also managing difficult patients and complaints, because that's a big one that quite often they come in and don't really realize it's going to be such a massive part of their job. Hopefully not, because we don't want complaints, but it's always there. The patient survey, foundation cornerstone, tips and tricks, and other helpful links. And it does just keep going. I'll stop there, because then it kind of just dives into more of actually, like how to claim and things like that. So that is what we've created. I don't want to spend too long on it because it's very text heavy. So Michelle, Mary, did you guys have anything you wanted to sort of jump in there and bring up about that?
I'd just like to say thank you, Patria, for starting it off, because it is something that we've talked a lot about over the years, but it's such a huge task. We tried to put your basics in with your start, not cover every aspect of every practice, because that's just ridiculous. You'd never ending. So we hope it's going to be utilised by the PHO to add all their bits too, and actually a ongoing useful resource that people can add all their specific bits to. So we really hope that it'll be a valuable tool to managers everywhere, really.
Yeah, I took everything that's been said. It's been a dream of mine personally, because when I was chucked into practice management 23 years ago, I got half an hour handover with the exiting practice manager. It was at Te Whanau Waipareta in West Auckland, which was massive. And I had all these staff coming at me talking in acronyms, all the rest of it. I was petrified of doctors, petrified of nurses, had no clue. And basically, one of the managers came and chucked all these manuals back then, because this was many years ago, not so much on the internet. So yeah, I think it's amazing. It's definitely an organic document, as Mary's alluded to. Every practice is different, every PHO is different, every region is different. So I think it's a great guide for especially new managers, and amongst our organisation, they now outnumber the old ones like Mary. So been around for many moons. So it's definitely going to be snapped up, I think, and hopefully the PHOs will grab it and add to it. And I actually had to stop myself, Patria. I think I told you, you could go down a wormhole, rabbit hole, and never come back, because there's so much more that could be added to it. But I think it's a great start for new managers who can then add their own stuff. And I'm actually going to add a lot of medical reception, because that is a hugely specialised role now. As much as practice managers, you need your medical receptionists, and they're definitely very difficult to come by nowadays. So when you have them, you need to uffy them and upskill them. So this document I will be handing to my entire reception team, telling them that one day you too could be me. So no, but, yeah. So I think yeah, we'll add that on, because we did start a medical reception guide a few years ago, but things have changed, so I need to update that. So once we sort of organically adapt that, I'm happy to share the medical reception side of things too.
Oh, that would be great.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Patria, for bringing us in on this. It'll definitely work.
Yeah, and it's really great because, you guys are in contact with so many, more people, like the practice managers directly, and then other PHOs that we may not be. So yeah, I think it's really great to sort of have just collaboratively like finish that off. And then, yeah, so we obviously will still have it sitting with us if anybody sort of in our network wants it. But then I guess sort of moving forward, would we sort of for the team, if somebody else is talking to them and they're like, oh, we've heard of this manual, would we direct them directly to, I guess, sort of you guys to keep getting copies of that, I guess?
Yeah. I think what we did was put the contact as our administrator.
Oh, amazing.
And we're going to work with Patria and team on a comms rollout. So everybody knows, and our administrator who's in Christchurch, Carol, is absolute whiz at all of that. So it'll go out on each platform. For us, we sort of sort of conflicted around, do you charge people for it? Do you not? I'm kind of 50-50 there, and that'll be up to the exec really, but it'll definitely sit behind our paywall, I imagine, in the members section. But I know it'll get shared anyway, so you sort of, I think it's a good template just to spread the love out, because it's been wanting for many years. So you did an amazing job setting that up, Patria. I'm glad you had the time to get it going.
It definitely did take a bit, but we were like, oh, it's really needed. And the good thing was that I actually took a lot of the information from when I was practice manager, like all of those acronyms I just cut and pasted from my time when I was working in practice. And I think that quite a good thing about this is that you can actually move it into other areas if you want. You can just take a couple of those pages, like the acronyms, and nearly probably anybody new to health, I guess, it's useful. Yeah,
And,
like
definitely.
even sort of people within the PHO, like I shared it with a couple of our practice relationship managers in Wales South, and who hadn't worked directly with general practice, and they were like, this is amazing. Like it gives them an idea of what is actually happening. So I think we can do a lot with it. And yeah, so I will share it out with you know, the healthcare home leads after this meeting. And yeah, we did have a couple of comments like, is how personalized can we make it? You know, you guys just turn it into, you know, whatever you need within your network and for your practices. But yeah, I'm quite excited to finally have it out. And then we gave it to, you know, you guys, and you made it look better. So that was good.
That's Carol.
Yeah, because I opened it up and I was like, this looks great. I was like, this definitely wasn't my front page. And I look at the stuff I make and
The
I'm like,
formatting
oh,
queen
so
she is.
Yeah, I was like, I'll chuck that content in. She makes
Yeah.
it beautiful. What a team.
Yeah, no, awesome.
Yeah.
Resource. Yeah, no, this will be not a charge for the healthcare home PHO practices. We will be distributed out to you guys, but it's sort of just moving it forward past kind of our immediate network we've got here. You know, we'll leave that up to you guys at PMAS. That was just a comment in the comments there. Yeah. Excellent. Well, did anybody else have any sort of questions on this straight away? I will be sort of sending it out so we can talk on that further, but just while we've got, you know, Michelle and Mary here, any comments, questions, thoughts? Easy. Look at that. Oh, Jazz, go.
I'm just going to jump in and just acknowledge, the collaboration between CoLab and PMANS. I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship partnership. I think there's lots of opportunities for us to think about how we can partner. This is one example. And I think it's really cool and really adding value for our practices. Rebecca, your comment before about the busyness, you know, if we can carry some of that and introduce templates, resources, standardizing some things like this for people to make it easier, because you know, we've heard time and time again the turnover of practice managers. So, you know, often people are kind of landed on picking up a role, or you know, without the support, and this is a great resource that will kind of enable them. So no, I'm really excited, and I just really want to kind of acknowledge this beginning of a new partnership. So that's awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we've appreciated it. It's been great. And is Amarjit on? No, anyway, so send our love. I spoke to her the other day, so very excited for her moving to Think Holder. It's awesome.
I wrote in my notes. Ethan stole our CE.
Everyone's moving.
So Michelle, Amarjit just had a clash this morning. She's got a federation meeting, but hopefully she will join later on today. But I will relay that to her
the other day. That's awesome. Thank you guys for having us. It's great.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Amazing. Thank you for taking the time to come on. Perfect. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming on. I mean, feel free to stay on for a bit or jump off, you know, go on with your busy days.
My trade.
No, go cover reception. Thanks.
Excellent.
Enjoy your holiday, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Okay. And we will carry on. We have quite a bit on today. Look, I had made a wee page to prompt us to talk about this. Although I keep...
Sorry, Patria, before you jump to the next item, I've just noticed we've got Sarah and Lawrence that have just joined us. Well, they haven't just joined us, they joined a little while ago, but I just wanted to make sure we had a platform or a little bit of space for them to introduce themselves, especially as we have Nee that's joined our team. So I wonder if we just want to hear from both of you guys.
Good morning, everybody. I think I know everybody. I've been here for a while for Healthcare Home. I'm the Healthcare Home lead for Pro.
Amazing. Are you doing much for the holiday season? That's what we've already talked about.
I am counting down. It's only 4 weeks to go. 2 weeks till one child finishes school, 3 weeks for the other, and then Christmas at home this year, which will be nice.
That'll be lovely. Well, welcome on. Thanks for coming. And Lawrence?
Morning, everyone. My name is Lawrence. I'm the healthcare home lead in Te Awakarangi Health in the Hat Valley. I was just with Nee yesterday. I was just talking to her, so she delivered some booklets here. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And do you have much planned for the time off over the Christmas New Year period?
No, actually, I'm just gonna stay at home, but I'll be away in February. I'll be home in February in the Philippines.
Ah, very nice.
It's been a while, so excited for that.
That's good. Good to hear. Excellent. Thank you for that prompt, Jazz. Sometimes I just start power on through. Cool. So next up we do have, if I could get, there we go. So next on the agenda, we did have the healthcare home certification dates for next year. So I've just copied them on here. It's very similar format to this year we've just done. And so we've done March, June, September, and December again. And yeah, so those are just the dates there. I'll send this out as well, just so you guys all have it available, but you know, pretty standard. Just wanted to just make sure you guys know that we've got that there. And then next, so pretty much this probably next half an hour is just going to be me informing you on things with a bit of conversation. Then we do have, I've made a little Leads calendar of events. So we have in here, so this is primarily, I was just doing the next year's lead HUIs and the online and in-person ones. But as I've previously mentioned, we are doing sort of a bit of a roadshow workshop sort of type thing, which we've mentioned before. So I've got all this in here. So you can see I've run just through the whole year when we have what. So I will just run through the Leads HUI and then I will actually move on to that. I'm calling it the roadshow now. So our first one next year is Friday, the 2nd of February. And that's online. And then we move into one in March, will be an in-person one in Wellington. And that actually does just tie in with the planned. We are just confirming the details for the roadshow, but those will be beside each other, which hopefully will make it a bit easier for people to, come along. I will also send this out to everybody. Then we have, so the, leads who we have moved to every second month, as we've mentioned before. So then we move into May, and that one is online on the 10th. And then July is, I have just written a note there. This one is online, and it is just the Friday before the school holidays. It's just, if we think that is going to be quite a big conflict, we could, because it is sort of just our group, we could potentially move that maybe a week. And then we've got the September one is actually on Thursday, and it's in person, which is the day before the conference. So hopefully people will be able to put those together as well and come along to both. So that is our collaborative conference there, the 27th and 28th. And then the last one for the year next year will be Friday, the 29th of November, and that is online. So that is good. We've just set those dates for the year, and just wanted to make sure you all knew so we could plan in advance for in-person ones. We get to hang out. And moving on from that, just more about the regional, the collaborative roadshow. So this is, we did run one, I think it was in 2021, and then last year we did more of that for online. Wangana, wang. Oh, I could never say this word. Wananga. And I always have it in my head, and then I say it, and it's always wrong. So this is the 2024 version. So this one is going to be in person only. So it is together. We've done a little why, sort of why and what. To why nanga. Gathering to share and learn all about the healthcare home model of care to support general practice sustainability, highlight the benefits of the model, and create opportunities to showcase local success stories. So it's a roadshow throughout the whole country. You can see on the slide before, we have some set dates. We'll come back to areas that we're looking at, which we'll come back to. Now, this is for everyone. So this is for the PHOs, this is for the practices, and it is kind of like a workshop roadshow. So there will be a cost because there's speakers coming in from around the country, venue, food, all that type of stuff. Like it's an event, day event. And we also will move into sort of kōrero and reimagining their future model of care for primary and community. So a bit of sort of, a little bit of everything in there. So I am going to run through the agenda and the locations and the dates a bit more. So just something I'd like to get a bit of feedback from you guys about, because this is, for our members and for the practices, and hopefully, if you've got practices that are interested in the journey, want a bit more info, like this would be a great place to do it, and ones that sort of reconnect. So just some thoughts we'd like to get some areas we'd like to get some feedback on. It can either be today, or you can come back to me like in an email with your thoughts about it. But is, you know, sort of looking at the locations we are planning to do, you know, what is the ease of travel and access for, you know, the PHs and practices? Is there a suitable venue in that area? Would there be an area that you think would be better suited, you know, with perhaps more attendees or benefit more in that region versus one that we've done? And just after looking at the agenda, sort of what are your thoughts? Is there anything sort of glaringly obvious? You're like, oh, actually, that would be amazing. And at the moment, we have it as one full day. And is that something that, you know, does that seem like what you would want? Sorry, I just can't. There we go. So what I've essentially just done it throughout the country. So at the start of the March, it's starting into Dunedin. So we'll do one down there for that sort of Otago Southern region, and then one in Christchurch for that kind of middle section of the country. And then the week later, we were looking at doing it in Taupo, kind of just heading up the country, but we thought perhaps potentially that, you know, there was a couple of PHOs in that sort of Hawke's Bay, you know, Gisborne, sort of that half. And so we wondered if perhaps that was a better region. So I've penciled that in, then moved into Wellington, then have that Leads Day attached to it. And then we're thinking of doing Auckland and Northland. So we're trying to sort of be hopefully close enough to enough PHOs to allow for travel and all that sort of type of thing. It is quite hard because I'm just like, oh, I just want to do one everywhere, but you know, it is a roadshow, so we've got to sort of make some path through. We have done it just throughout the month of March because that is before Easter and the school holidays, and so we just sort of chucked it into that solid month. So did anybody have any comments just on our locations at the moment? Those dates we've set are reasonably sort of firm, but we could potentially move a Renee, go.
You know what I'm going to say.
Have it in my town.
Well, I think Rebecca Colley on there too, you know, I'm sure coming to Nelson, Marlborough, I'm sure we've got lots of, you know, practices and teams more likely that need to hear this information to get on board. I don't know. What do you think, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think we'd really struggle to get anyone to Wellington or Christchurch, to be honest. Yeah, I couldn't see it happening.
Yeah, and because this
even though
is
we'd
the
encourage
feedback
it.
we are looking for is, you know, like if both of you guys are like, actually we would bring heaps of practices are keen to come, then that is definitely something we want to hear, and we would sort of try and work it around. Because I sort of penciled them in, and then I was just like, oh, there's so many areas, it's such a large expanse of land, like, so that is good. Thank you. I appreciate those thoughts. Did anybody else? Yes, Ethan?
Yeah, second there, I know Palmerston North is missing on there. I know Wellington is and Hawke's Bay both close enough, but we've even to some of the collaborative conferences, we've struggled to get some of our practices to go. We're able to get the PHO teams to go, which is fine, but I think we really need something for our practices. And I also hear we're getting a new CE who might be interested in this, so could be an opportunity.
Rebecca?
Yeah, what I was just thinking, it would, I mean, particularly for Renee and I don't know, Isan, whether it would be for you, but even put sort of a bit of a register of interest out so that we don't go too far down the rabbit hole saying, yeah, and then not having that buy-in prior to having the chat.
Yeah, because that is sort of probably why I wanted to have this conversation as well, and because when we look at the agenda as well, you're like, you know, is this something that your practices will want to come to? Because we want it to be useful, beneficial, relevant to the sector. So I will show you the, see, I pull my screen up so I can see you. I forget that I've actually got this up. So this is our rough agenda. This was just kind of the areas we were thinking about doing. The time we've just kind of slotted in to see, you know, how much of the day that takes up. So at the moment it is a one day. It would be from about 9:30 to approximately 4:30. And, you know, it is quite broad at the moment, but at the start, obviously a bit of an introduction, you know, the objectives of it, a bit of a history of the healthcare home model, the enhancement journey, you know, and the importance of sort of like primary care, and that you know, we do, healthcare is in a rough place. Staff shortages, etc. We don't need to go to that. And then moving into like a clinical overview of the model of care. So actually hearing from like local clinical leads, like, and these are possible speakers still, like Dr. Andrew Miller and Dr. Chrissy Lennon, and, we'd look at some sort of more local ones as well, actually hearing from the clinician that it does help, and where can it help the most, valuing that patient time, clinical safety, patient-centered care. We're also looking at patient stories, the importance of lived experience, actually hearing like what are the patients seeking, what areas is that? Actually looking at the model of care. And so we're looking to focus on the building block style, because that we feel that is much more relevant to what is happening in the community, and particularly, with the change that not funding styles different in each area. So we want it to be, accessible and relevant throughout the whole country. So then we'd be just looking at the domains, a few case studies in each. And, we would like to, if we were in your area and you guys were like, we would love to do a case study from one of our practices to highlight to the others, that's definitely, an option. Like, this is going to be very sort of collaborative, talk to each, region, each PHO, how involved you want to be, what do you want to hear about. Go into lean, and then also some change management with the ADCAR ProSci, because that's so essential, equity and te tiriti. And so we will probably, this isn't necessarily the order, we've just kind of put it in to give you some of the information, and then reimagining the model of care, and then we would, sort of wrap up for the day. Morning tea, afternoon tea, lunch, it's all in there. We just haven't written it down. So sort of, what were the thoughts? Are these, do you feel this is something? Yep, register was help gauge, venue size, perfect. Renee.
Just a question. Could this be adapted to suit, I guess, the availability and the need of each community? Like a whole day, it's massive to have practice teams off for a whole day. And I think when this was done quite a while back, that there was like more of a half day. And some of the subjects in there, like obviously, there's workshops, I guess, that PHO or education, and, could we adapt the topics to suit what the demand and the need is in our community with our teams?
It definitely would be a discussion. So looking at sort of that, gauging the interest, if we were to move it, and like, just for instance, looking at the Dunedin one, so that covers quite a large area, but it is actually just that one PHO. So we could, yes, you can kind of be like, okay, do you want us to lean more heavily in one area of that, and then so we could potentially do the same thing depending where we hold those other ones, because, as you're saying, we want it to be relevant. And but also I did want to say, sort of, our thoughts moving on from this is that this is kind of everybody can come to this, and then after that we can do, like, definitely more personalized ones in each PHO, because that is sort of, what I'm available to do at any time. But then after this, you could hear a bit of hearing sort of the more of a grand scale of information. The practices can be like, actually, we'd love to hear more about that. So then we can do a bit of a focus point on it. And, because I can travel sort of anywhere at any time where I'm needed. Yeah, so that was kind of our original thought, is that this is more of a, and that is the thing, is if all of you say, actually, in this area, we want you to focus on that, then all of them will be the same. And then, yeah, we could sort of move into a more smaller, personalized for each PHO as well down the track. There isn't a virtual option at the moment, just because it doesn't really, you just don't get that same value. I will head on to some other questions, because probably get some of the information out as well. Marianne, what have you got there?
I was going to ask the question about the virtual option as well, just because of the rurality of our practices all the way up to Kaitaia and further, an hour north of Kaitaia. So that was something that would be really important for us as a PHO to probably try and work around that if we could. What's the cost going to look like for those attending?
Not 100% sure yet. This is still quite early on for me, I haven't been involved in this before. So I think it is a bit of a discussion of, how many people do you think we're going to turn up, venue costs and that type of stuff. So for instance, if, there was a venue available just at the PHO, for instance, and that didn't potentially cost anything, then that price would be lower as well.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
kind of,
that's what I was
yeah.
just going to say. We're happy to we're happy to host here.
Yes.
Let's talk. Let's talk.
Yeah, because that was kind of my hoping is that, you know, depending where it is, that there would be a venue available at either quite a low cost because it's, you know, with you guys, and then it's kind of mainly the food, and potentially if we've got like speakers coming on, would maybe be some of that cost there. Nee,
Cool.
what have you got? Feel free, tell me everything.
Oh, good. No, thank you. I just wanted to, I guess, remind the team that I want to acknowledge what Renee said as well. That you know, I think this is a very loose agenda. It's something that we've only just sort of scoped up really recently. What was the word that Amajit used? Very like a straw man. You know, it's not very confirmed or anything. We haven't locked down a location. I think the location, once we get the information from you guys, it will inform us where the venue will be, and that will give us a better idea of what the costs are and the speakers, because we are trying to bring in local speakers that are relevant to your area as well. But what I just wanted to also put out there, and that's something that maybe you and I, Patria, can talk on the side, is that, you know, there's a section in that day which we want to keep quite loose so that it can be a little bit flexible for your region and what the need is, and what you think might, you know, would be, I guess, acceptable or well received in your area. So that, for example, would be the case study section would be very, I think, ideal for that part to be quite flexible. But yeah, definitely, I like the idea.
Did anybody have any other thoughts, comments? Yeah, so it is, you know, as Nee and myself, it is quite a new agenda. We've only just done this in the last couple of days. We do want it to be sort of reasonably similar about what we've done before because it's that core info, but there is definitely some flexibility. Yeah. But it would be, yeah, just Jazz.
I was just going to the conversation, just to add to, I mean, I agree with everything that says, and this is, as Nee has indicated, this is the straw man. This is the start of a conversation about, you know, you helping us co-design and co-create what's going to be relevant for your practices and the people that we're wanting to bring along on this journey of change. With regards to the virtual options, you know, we do still have our webinars. We've got many that are pre-recorded, you know, that have already occurred, but that is an option, you know, if there's a topic or something specific, you know, and that can be, you know, that's for everybody across the whole country. It's not just for your rohi, for your practices. So, you know, if you've got some ideas of some specific topics that you think will be really good for us to do as a webinar, we can do those. And then people can have them recorded and watch them in their own time. The joy of having a live webinar is that it encourages people to join in and ask questions as well. And then we've got the peer learning sessions as well, so which we have every month too. So there are those opportunities to engage with those practices that, you know, freeing up time and you know, journeying to an event can be managed through those avenues. So yeah. Olivia.
Thank you, Jazz.
Thank you. I was just trying to put my thinking cap on. Unfortunately, I won't be here because I'm due to have a baby that week. But I'm thinking now, trying to put some ideas together. We would be like really honoured to host something in our region. And I'm thinking even maybe, haven't talked to anyone yet, obviously, but potentially have the ability to cover the cost of like Kai and a venue, because we've got a venue here, like one of our practices, the Hastings Health Centre, mega practice here, 33,000 patients, and they've got an awesome venue where we can host, and they allow us to use it for free. And maybe thinking that other PHOs in the area, obviously this is just an idea, to support practices around travel to Hawke's Bay as a location to support that. And then that just kind of takes off, you know, some of that cost as a barrier to get here in Hawke's Bay. But these are just ideas. And as you say, it's a straw man agenda, but just trying to work together to ensure that our providers are able to access, you know, roadshows like this.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
an
That's
idea.
amazing.
I'll put it forward before I
Yes.
before I leave. Like, we
I'm
said that
announcing
we're
it to
going to do
everybody,
this.
so it has to happen. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
great. And that's,
We,
yeah, these are the kind of conversations we love to have as well. Like, you know, what do
yeah.
you guys prefer? What are the, you know, topics that, you know, we've got what we sort of think will be useful, but then drilling down into what you guys in that think is useful. So this is great. Now, feel free to, you know, email me through any extra thoughts, you know, any questions, because you know, we can continue this conversation. We are sort of wanting to put out that we are doing it and the dates probably quite soon. So hopefully those dates look like they, you know, kind of fit everybody. Nobody's seen any alarm bells from having a roadshow in March, which seems to be good so far. I will move on just because we do have a few other things, but I just wanted to bring that up. You know, this is something we are, you know, organising, getting your feedback, which is great. We've got other items. So the Scoping the Gap template, which has been around for quite some time. If you could just hold there one moment, please. Apologies, it was children trying to join the meeting. Not mine. So the Scoping the Gap template has been around for quite some time, and I think at one point some of the formulas got a little mucked up. So I just want to say thank you to Mahitahi. They passed that on to their digital whiz, is what I'm saying. Yep, and ran through and made sure that everything just linked in perfectly, which was great, because there is, like, it's quite a big document, and thanks for joining us, and quite a big document in there. So it was great just to have someone with a bit more technical knowledge than I do to just make sure that was all flowing correctly. So I will send that out as well. And so I will send out sort of quite a few of the documents and the dates that we're talking about today. But yes, just want to acknowledge Mahitahi for fixing that up for us, and also just that there is an updated version if I haven't already given it to you. And then we've got the Leads Hub. So hopefully a few of you, I know some of you have because I've spoken to you about it, jumping on and using that, the Leads Engagement Hub. So I just wanted to bring it up. We are sort of continually making improvements, but we are putting news on it. Just like, for instance, with, you know, Amjet's exciting news of heading to Think, like that is on there. So yeah, just, you know, try and just pop in quite regularly and just make sure you're just having a check on that. We're also doing a bit of an update, like we'll do one from me, and then I've got a bit of an update about, you know, who I've been seeing and what's been happening in my area. And then also the meetings. And yeah, we are looking at having it quite visible who else is on it, and perhaps where you're located in the region and that within the country, so the leads can kind of get to know each other a bit better, which would be amazing. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of reiterate that is up and running. We're continually putting more content on it, and there will be more resources on it as we're sort of, you know, updating and making those available. And I just also wanted to say, like, for instance, with this, because this is sort of, you know, a private meeting just for PHO leads and teams, is that this will be uploaded onto the Engagement Hub, but it's just for us. Like, it wouldn't be on YouTube or anything like that. So, whereas the peer sessions most likely, like us, will still be available on both avenues there. All right, what else have I got here? Leads survey. So we sent out the member feedback survey, helping us do better. I think, a couple of weeks ago now. So I just wanted to say, you know, thank you everybody who has taken the time to fill that in. There is still, today might have been the last day. Was today that last day, Jazz? It's the 24th, wasn't it? Yeah. So if you haven't done it, jump in, say how amazing I am, just, you know, or just whatever you want to say. But no, we want, you know, feedback, good and bad, because this is to help us do better, you know, moving forward. And just, you know, letting you know, we will be looking at that data, taking on that feedback, you know, passing forward information that needs to be to the relevant people. And was there anything else on that lead survey we needed to bring up, Jazz?
It's just, I mean, feedback, as you mentioned, Patria, it's really an opportunity for you to help direct what you need from us in terms of planning for next year. You know, as we all know, there is lots happening in primary care, and yeah, we just want to make sure that what we're bringing to the table, what we're designing, what we're delivering is adding value for you, to add value for the practices. So it's an opportunity for you to have your say around how we can do better, really. Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. So that was, I'm pretty sure, let me just jump back to the agenda, make sure I didn't miss anything. Just got so much in here, you know. Yes, let's have a cup of tea. So we'll just have a quick break. Coming up after our break, we do have Adam O'Byrne coming on from Dunedin Urgent Doctors. Now, I have briefly brought this up with you guys before, that when I was down in Wales South, I actually did some work with the Dunedin Urgent Doctors in the healthcare home space. And he's come from, he'll tell you, but he's made quite a lot of improvements to the urgent doctors in Dunedin. And I thought that would be really great to share with you, because I know that, you know, sort of urgent care is quite a hard space across the whole country. And also, you know, I've asked him to kind of talk about how that feeds into the unenrolled in the area as well, because that is also quite a big issue that we know is around, you know, just closed books, how to support the unenrolled. And I did have another speaker who was going to talk about how they're supporting the unenrolled in their region, but that will be at the next Leads meeting next year, because unfortunately I couldn't make it today. All right, so let us go away. We've got, because I'm such a fast talker, we do have 15 minutes, I think, for our little break here. But yeah, so jump back on for, let's say 11:15, so probably, well, about 10 minutes maybe. And I will get Adam to come on and we will go from there. So see you all at 12 past. Maybe slightly longer, 15 past, just joking, 15 past. Kia ora, Adam.
Hello, Petrea. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Sorry, I was just
Yeah,
eating some chips.
having a snack. Yeah.
I was like, I had this big bag beside me while I've been working. I was like, well, be rude not to eat them. How is your day going?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Slow day.
What's it like down in Dunedin?
Oh, you know, sunshine lollipops as always. No, it's pretty cold. Pretty cold. Yeah. But
I think
it's
the whole
slowly
country might
clearing.
be.
Mm. Yep, but it's clearing. So I don't think the kids cricket's going to be cancelled.
Hmm. You excited? Get to tell us all about your glorious life at Dunedin Urgent Doctors. You'll be like the pinnacle of the year.
Won't take long.
I felt like I had like an hour and a half for you. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah. Plenty of time for questions then.
Yeah. You've disappeared. It's just me answering questions. Yeah, so probably, I don't know, I think we talked about maybe like half an hour-ish. Oh, look at that gorgeous cat.
Small dog. She's only 10 months old and she's 5.7 kilos.
That's impressive. I was looking after, I think I told a few of you, I was looking after an English bulldog in Pukekohe, and I did say, I was like, how heavy is this dog? And he was like, oh, only like 35 kgs. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, easy.
5.7's not sounding so bad, but I wonder how much of it's actually fluff.
Yeah. Yeah. I have looked after a cat like that as well. But you pet it, and like this much of it is just fluff.
Yeah, and she's got a fat tail. Like her tail is, it's fat with fluff, isn't it, Mabel?
Is her name Mabel?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. I realized that now that I
Yeah.
have children, it's not just my decision as to what we name the cat. And we ended up with the little one who's, you know, the second child. Everything about her is the second child. Came up with Jemima Puddle Cat, and which everybody else in the family thought was really funny. And I was like, you can't name a cat Jemima Puddle Cat. And then the breeder fortunately said, just two names, a first name and a last name. I was like, oh, that makes life easy. We can't have Jemima Puddle Cat. So,
have you got any animals, Adam?
Me? Yeah, we have a nutter of a border collie. It's just turned
nice.
1. Yeah, Loki.
Loki.
Yeah.
Did you pick that name?
No, we didn't. It was sort of
Not
rehomed.
a big Marvel fan?
No, I am massive Marvel fan and very happy with how Loki ended up in season 2. But
oh, we've just started it, and I've kind of forgotten what happened in season 1, so we've kind of stopped for the time being.
you got it. It's actually like one of the best things Marvel's probably done in a long
really?
time. Yeah, season 2. So yeah.
I'll have to get back.
Better than WandaVision?
Yeah.
That was okay.
So was WandaVision good? Because I haven't watched that one yet. Yeah.
It was to start off with, you're kind of like, what on earth is going on
Yeah.
here? And then you realize how clever it was.
Yeah.
Because it actually feeds into one of the later movies, doesn't it? With the Scarlet Witch. Yeah. So I went to a farmer's market in Pukekohe, and I got this box set of Marvel figurines, like, you know, Thor and like Spider-Man and Captain America and Thanos and someone else, and I brought it for like my nephew, and then I was like, do I give it to my brother or do I just keep it for myself?
Yeah.
And it's in my car, and I was like, it's good to stay with me. You know, I don't need to give it to a child. But yeah, I did wonder if I give it to my brother from Santa, and I think he'll quite appreciate it. He can share it with his son, you know.
Yeah. My girls are now at the age where we can all watch the Marvel movies together, which is quite good.
Yeah.
not sure how many people we've got back on. If you're here, can you please turn your camera on so I know that you're here? At least just for a few minutes. There's a fly in here. It's going to drive me crazy. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good return rate. Renee's in her car. Excellent. Well, hope everybody grabbed something to eat, got your cuppa. I have an instant Kiwi cup because I'm at my sister's and she used to work for Lotto, so there's a lot of Lotto paraphernalia about. Paraphernalia? Cool. Okay, so moving on. There we go. We are going to be hearing from Adam at Dunedin Urgent Doctors. I will stop sharing my screen to give Adam full right of place. So I will pass I will pass on to you, Adam, to introduce yourself, and I look forward to hearing all of the wonderful things you have to say.
Thanks, Petrea. Kia ora all. Yep, my name's Adam O'Byrne. As you may hear from my accent, I'm Australian, so please don't hold that against me. I moved here to Dunedin a couple of years ago now with my family. My wife is a Kiwi and nurse practitioner, and yeah, she wanted to return to be closer to home. So after many years of trying, we managed to get, or I managed to get a job over here in the middle of COVID, and so don't recommend moving during a pandemic. But yeah, we finally got here, and yeah, I landed a job at Te Whare as primary care manager in the Southern District Health Board, as it was then. Hence why I've obviously known Petrea for a fair amount of time from a Well South days in the healthcare home sort of project. So yeah, I guess I got my grounding there of learning about the New Zealand health system and especially the challenges within primary care yeah, pretty early on in my journey. And so what brought me here is, yes, there was a fear that Dunedin Urgent Doctors and Accident Centre would probably fall over. There was lots of, as you know, capacity issues within primary care. People were burnt out, you know, resourcing issues and those sort of things that were, I guess, sort of coming to a perfect storm. So the general manager was on their way out, and Well South CEO and Andrew Swanson Dobbs asked me if I wanted to come in, be seconded into the GM role to try and steady the ship and move it, I guess, on through, you know, I guess having the background and the knowledge that I brought to the role, which I should say my background is clinical as a paramedic for 15 years at St John's in Western Australia. I worked up to being operations manager for the Metro Ambulance Service for 2 years. So quite an operational background with a clinical sort of background also. So yeah, that was, I'm going to share my screen now so I can take you on the journey.
Looks good.
That all good? Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, initially I was brought in on secondment through Well South to steady the ship. I'm now fully employed by Dunedin Urgent Doctors. I've left my role during the shake-up and yeah, sort of found that yeah, my niche here. I really enjoy working here and have I guess yeah, just embraced the challenges that laid ahead. There we go. So the first thing I wanted to do as an organisation, we didn't have a mission and vision, which I guess is a pretty important thing for ownership and understanding what we're trying to achieve. Because as I'll show, is one of the challenges that Dunedin Urgent Doctors had, was that it didn't really have an identity, and so, you know, the staff were working here and they'll basically, you know, coming in, doing their job and going home, but I just wanted to really, I guess, embrace the fact that we are, you know, an integral part of the Dunedin community and the health system. So I wanted, and this was given to the staff to develop, and this is basically their input, which is really good. So so yeah, that was the first thing, and we are going to go through a bit of a rebrand as well over the summer period and launch next year, just to really solidify that identity within Dunedin, and yeah, probably, and get away from the doctors mentioned in the title, because we're much more than just doctors, as you'll see going forward. So I started December, just before Christmas, 2022. Oh yes, Petrea.
I was just going to say, can you explain the guild and non-guild?
Oh yeah, yep. So Dunedin Urgent Doctors is an incorporated society. So all the majority of the general practices within Dunedin are part of that incorporated society, forming the guild. And the guild then has a Dunedin After Hours Limited company that is Dunedin Urgent Doctors. So all guild practices, and this is probably the same, there's many different iterations of this throughout New Zealand. They all share their resources, which is the doctors that do a centralised after-hours service, which is from 6 p.m. to 10:30 at night, and then also on weekends 8 till 10 and public holidays. So that's all on a roster basis, and then any, I guess, guild practice that's outside of that, they don't perform any rostered services. They got to do their own after hours, and there's only a couple of practices within Dunedin that do that, and it's one of the larger ones in Mornington do their own after hours. But as we see through Thalamus and constantly during the day, that service isn't sufficient, and we see a lot of their patients, and unfortunately they get charged a surcharge when they do come as well, because they're not contributing to the roster. So, which is unfortunate that their patients are sort of almost punished for their lack of access to after hours. So so yeah, so that's the basic nuts and bolts of the guild. So yeah, I work with the board that basically, you know, we run the day service, which is for the company. Then the after hours is the guild. So the GPs, which I'll show you, it does create a bit of a divide and a bit of a struggle in trying to get that consistency of service as well throughout. So this is a Thalamus data that when I first started, as you can see, in the beginning there was still quite a few presentations, 2,000 presentations in a month. December's usually fairly quiet for us, but you can see the amount of after hours. It's because we didn't really have any staff. So when I came, there was a mass exodus and people were not happy, and the fracture clinic had closed a couple of months before. Staff had left, the nursing staff was decimated. So yeah, things were pretty dire. When I agreed to do this, I was pretty shocked when it got there. I was like, what have I got myself into? But there was a core of really good, solid staff here that I knew that I could sort of, I guess, if I got their respect and yeah, got them on board, that we could build from there. So this was really compounding the after hours service, because there was either no doctor or only one doctor on during the day to manage, you know, the GP overflow and the urgent care visits and those sort of things. So it pushed a lot of the work onto the after hours doctors, which generally we had at least 2, but sometimes 3 or 4. And more often than not, those extra standby GPs were called in to handle the load. So that was burning out GPs quite a bit, because they already had a busy day, and then they come do their rostered shift and they walk into a busy waiting room. So it was trying to, I guess, work through that issue to try and, I guess, give the doctors a bit of a reprieve. So this is now, I guess, September 2023. So you can see we've now, we're seeing more patients, a lot more ACC visits, because we're able to reopen the fracture clinic in August of this year. We hired a doctor from America, urgent care doctor. So yeah, great cost to get him over here, but yeah, he's full-time fracture clinic and on the floor. He's also brought his GP wife with him, who we're going to employ as well. So absolutely, yeah, awesome find, and they're here to make a new life. So that's a long-term investment. And yes, and we've also, as you can see through the presentations during the day, we've evened out the load, so that the doctors are not walking into a full clinic, and that we're only rarely calling in the standby doctors now as well, which is really good. So yeah, everything is, I guess, over the last almost a year now, has been positive. And I guess the real benefit has been the healthcare homes sort of, Petrea came in and she worked with our admin team. I obviously utilised the knowledge that I had before to try and get this ship steadied. So yeah, so the challenges that we faced during that time was the DUDAC was, sorry, that's the acronym, the Dunedin Urgent Doctors and Accident Centre. So through the rebrand, we've got to get a better, a just as good acronym there, because that's quite handy. The DUDAC was stuck with one clinical system and no identity really. It was basically, we're just another like a GP clinic, which we're a doctor, nurse, and that was it. It was very very one-dimensional. And then the identity issue was that, are we urgent care? Because we did try to go urgent care before I think it was before COVID. However, then COVID happened and that got parked. Then we got our after hours component, and then we're also a GP overflow, because in Dunedin, the access to GPs is hard, and despite the healthcare home initiatives, there is still that, that most practices aren't enrolling anymore. Their books are full, and getting an appointment is really, really tough. So yeah, so that were the challenges, facing us. So we weren't meeting the demand. We were putting pressure on the after-hours service. So doctors were threatening, or practices were threatening to remove themselves from the roster, and that was that was a big risk, because again, then it really splinters the after hours, and then there's different arrangements for different patients, and it would really confuse things, and it wasn't the best thing for the patient. So it had to really mitigate that risk and try and reduce that pressure on that after-hour service as quickly as we could. And there were also, the long wait times that were leading to poor patient satisfaction. As you may have seen on the previous slide with thalamus, there was majority of our wait times were 2 hours plus, which is really, and without any triage system when I first arrived, that was, a risk that I wasn't willing to sort of hold on to. So I implemented the nursing triage course immediately to get make sure that our nurses are triaging each patient that was in the waiting room that they was seen on clinical need rather than if they were there first. So that was the roster when I first arrived. That's the January roster. As you can see, we had days where we didn't have any doctors, or one doctor for a period of time. So yeah, that's what we faced, and it was quite a struggle. So, and I'm sure it was very similar across the board with regards to GPs, practices, and doctors throughout the COVID years. We had the struggle of getting any sort of profession into New Zealand. So yeah. So to move to where we are now, the changes that we made was, number one was to improve the culture. There was, I guess, when I arrived, they were beaten down from the COVID years, and also the, I guess, the pressure that they felt, because DUDAC was caught between the GP practices and ED and the place where people usually came, as a last resort. So it's very much a high pressure environment, even though it's, a clinic that's essentially looking at low acuity patients. However, the acuity is getting higher because access was harder within, primary care and also ED, which our ED in Dunedin generally has, it's not, it's quite often that there will be a 8-hour wait for, priority 4s and 5s within the ED department. So yeah, we had a lot of negativity here that we just had to, bring people on the journey and let them use their strengths, and then, if you build that, they will come. I always want, wherever I work, I want to become the employer of choice. I want people to look at us and go, oh wow, I really want to work there, and be part of what they're doing. So that was a lot of time to, I guess, understand the staff and to really listen. That was the main thing. Like, I guess, build teamwork, and the I know the huddles is a really important thing within the healthcare home. So just having those moments to talk to the team and have regular catch-ups to let them know what's going on, and that was something that they hadn't had before. The GM kept things very, private. Had a closed door most days. So I've got an open door policy, and very much come from a leadership background where I built mentor programs and within ambulance, and I often went out on the road to meet staff and do those sort of things that, found value in building relationships. So I found that it's really, I guess it's a basic thing, but it's so important within an organisation to do that, and builds that connection, and then people start talking, and then once that happened, it sort of snowballed, and nurses, they know other nurses and things, and so we ended up getting a lot of word. Yes, we applied to get more nurses, and did a lot of recruitment drives and things, but we also had a lot of word of mouth appointments, like people who said, oh, they're looking for a job, and yep, bring them in, and that was really good to see. And before you know it, we started building a really diverse team. So what we it is another thing about that identity and being a sort of one-dimensional clinical sort of service. It was trying to diversify that. You know, as I mentioned, my wife's a nurse practitioner, so I have a utmost respect for nurse practitioners. I know how much work that they put in and how experienced they are. So, and you know, I found out that there was nurse practitioners banging on the door to try and get a job here. So it was about bringing them in and changing things, you know, because yeah, it had a very much a doctor focus, which you know, coming from a paramedic background, I understand that there are, you know, a lot of different other clinicians that can benefit, you know, different types of patients. So we're missing out on opportunities there. So ended up, yeah, employing nurse practitioners, nurse prescribers. We got healthcare assistants as well in the team to ensure that the nursing team were supported, so that they can focus on the triaging and the patient experience on that end. Healthcare assistants also helped with our immigration clinics as well, which we also have here at Urgent Doctors. Is a little bit of a side hustle there because there's no other immigration doctors within Dunedin. So yeah, we just looked at that and over time developed it, and it became quite a diverse and quite a collaborative sort of place to work, and yeah, and the satisfaction, you know, within and the culture that we've built has, yeah, gone through the roof. And you know, just reflecting on that, even today, you know, we got our Christmas function tonight where we've got 45 people coming, which is unheard of in Dudak's ever whole history. So yeah, it shows that yeah, I guess everyone is really yeah, embracing what we're trying to do and I guess the change that we're trying to make within Dunedin. We also through Patria had she spent some time with our reception team and admin team, and yeah, put a few different strategies in place there. So we you know, put another position on the front so that the, you know, the phone call demand can be met, because yeah, we had a lot of phone calls that were being dropped because, you know, we were busy, reception were busy handling the waiting room and the patients coming on. We've also been able to pass on the ACC claiming to that other role as well, which it allows our admin team leader to do other things on the patient satisfaction and patient engagement side of things, which is again a very important thing, because we always received a lot of at the time a lot of complaints and things, which you know, it's great that we get feedback and all that, but it was, yeah, very much on the negative spectrum. Whereas, you know, we're trying to let's engage with our patients when, you know, or on our, you know, when we want to as well, and get feedback that you know, potentially that they're holding back, that we could, you know, try and get ahead of. And you know, if they've had a bad experience, we want to know why and how we can improve on that. So that was always a good thing to try and implement as well. Yep, and the role also followed up with bad debtors as well, which had grown over the COVID times, and but you know, that's a massive amount of debt that really we needed to be slowly clawing back where we could. We've also provided the clinical team with protected time once a month to assist in clinical oversight and continuous improvement. So that is majorly important for me, because there were a lot of gaps in our clinical governance. The previous clinical director had left mid-COVID, and yeah, trying to recruit for that position has been really tough. So instead of recruiting for that, it was to empower our you know, senior clinical team to take on parts of that role and really embrace it. So that's been a really good improvement as well. So getting a lot more policies and tightening up our procedures, especially around, prescribing, controlled drugs and drugs of like opioids and those of dependence. Sorry. So yeah, there's all these little things that each clinician had a little bit of a bugbear about, but it's not till they get together and they start sharing that and then provide an action for me to look at and implement. So, and yeah, just lastly, we're also just looking at gaps in the market. So the HPV vaccinations for those eligible, we see a lot of unenrolled patients here. There's opportune times that we can do, these sort of health preventative things. So now that we've got the team that diverse, that nurse prescribers and nurse practitioners, and look at women's health and those sort of things. So we can really make a difference in that equity side of things, because anyone could come see us, and so we're just exploring that with Well South and Te Whatu Ora. What more could we do in that space? So, and that's through building and improving on relationships. And as I mentioned before, I'm very much relationship focused in that part. And I know that, I don't want silos. I know that we're a part of a bigger system. So, I've made great relationships with ED, with St. John's. So we have regular catch-ups with those stakeholders, and then Well South, it's with the PHO and Te Whatu Ora, which I've got a meeting with today on some issues. So yeah, it's just about taking that opportunity to, I guess, to reach out and build those relations and improve them, which is really vital for patients. And I encourage our clinicians to do that. To support them, especially with orthopedics. Now we've got fracture clinic open, that they spend time at Dunedin Hospital Fracture Clinic, and eventually I'd like to. We've got a nurse practitioner or nurse prescriber is going to train to a nurse practitioner, so they'll be sharing that nurse practitioner with ED for the training components, and so it's just building those sort of relationships so that we one in the same and we're doing our role well within the health system. So so this is our roster now. So if you remembered the red before, so we now got really good coverage across every day. Some great clinicians there that that are really making a difference and enjoying their work, which is really good. With the fracture clinic that we opened, as you see, it was 3 days a week, and then the demand was so high that we've had to open 4 days a week, and we could probably go 5 if we needed, but we're just sort of waiting on seeing how that performs. But it's the patients are loving it, because the Dunedin Hospital was the only fracture clinic within within Otago, really. There's obviously Queenstown's got one, but that a couple had closed down. So now there's the opportunity that they can come see us for the simple fractures, and that has allowed Dunedin ED, or it's not ED, sorry, Dunedin Fracture Clinic to see the more complex fractures in a more timely manner, and give which really benefits patient outcome, which is what we're trying to achieve. Cool. So so that's our journey. That's it's been a really challenging, but I guess great year nearly. Coming up to in December will be a year, but it's been rewarding, that's for sure, and being on the journey and having, I guess, that grounding in the primary care role and Well South and the healthcare homes, sort of that it was a good platform to launch off. And while it didn't fit everything that because we were I guess essentially an urgent care clinic that that was a walk-in clinic and things, there was a lot of principles there that were solid foundations for growing, growing our service and providing and putting it where it needs to be, which is important.
That's amazing. Thank you. I did have a quick question. So with the moving into nurses triaging the patients when they come and they're being seen on, I guess, urgency rather than first in, first served, like how did the GPs know sort of who was to be seen? Because I know that for a start, it was just like a list of the patients that have come in. So how did you change it so the GPs knew who to pick up next?
So yeah, there was, I believe there was a thing on the on MedTech where they're obviously color coded and given a triage number as well. So we've had to ensure that, because you can modify your view in MedTech so that they see what they want to see, and the view, you can put the triage right next to the patient. So then it was a color coded and number, so they definitely can see which one that they needed to see next. So yep. So instead of just being a list of patients and going, oh yeah, the next one there, they can see exactly who needs to be seen next. So and we do get we do get a few priority twos. Like we've had runs of really sick patients coming through, which I'm sure people see in primary care. That especially after during COVID, that a lot of people put off their healthcare, or and a lot of chronic issues have become a bit more acute, and we're seeing a lot more sick patients come through.
Yeah,
so
that's really good, because because when I was there, like, just because I hadn't really been exposed to much of that urgent care before, and so just you could see the people, and some of them look sicker than others, and then you were just like, oh, they're just waiting, and you're like, yep, we're bringing in the triage system. And I was like,
oh geez, it was I was so surprised. I was we've had some, I guess they've had some close calls in the past, and just wanted to remove that and then patients also feel they're getting a lot more, I guess, a lot more care and a lot more for their money, because they do pay a lot for their healthcare coming here, not as much as some places, but so now they actually get seen as soon as they come. Treatment can be started. There's some standing orders that nurses can do, so they feel like they're getting a lot of value out of coming, and that treatment started. Pain relief can be given and those sort of things while they wait. So definitely our complaints went right down. Patient satisfaction went up. It's we still do have our complaints, but majority of those are after hours, which again, that's a struggle of there's over 80 GPs that basically complete the roster, so it's very hard to reach out and communicate exactly what the standard you want, the culture that you're trying to build, and the patient journey and experience that it's hard. They come from a full day of working at their own practice to here, and they don't know the patient, so it's a struggle. But it's good to know that our core team during the day are embracing that and are happy and really, and the complaints and the threats of walking out have gone.
That's good. And have you noticed like that the wait time has sort of on average dropped?
Yes, yep. So majority of our wait times are around that 20-minute, half hour.
That's fantastic.
So we still have the obviously the 2-hour waits, but they're generally from the after hours, which our weekends are, we can easily see 100 patients during a Saturday or Sunday, and then they're quite complex sometimes, like the fractures and those sort of things. So the wait times do blow out in those days, but during the day, like it's generally, it can be up to an hour or so, but that's generally a busy day that we have.
Yeah. Now, does a few people have left just because they had other meetings in it, but we did get a thank you, like, great to hear what you were doing from Renee down in Marlborough. But did anybody here just have any questions? But I was going to just, while I wait for anybody to put their hands up, I was going to ask, because I have, like across the country, obviously the setup of urgent doctors is quite different. So sort of because I know that it's owned by the guild, but how do you go about for funding? Like, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're funded a lot of fee for service, so we get no funding at all, apart from after hours under 14s are free, so we get funding for that. I'm fighting for that to be during hours, because we've had many. I've even had parents, sort of blame me for it in the waiting room when they want to complain, which, I'm totally on board with what they want to do. I think it is wrong that they're punished because their GP, they can't get an appointment in a GP for 3 weeks, so they've got to pay for us. So yeah, it's something that we're working through. We're working through with the PHO, hopefully a joint venture, because we don't want to be passing the financial burden onto the patients, because there is a capacity issue in Dunedin. And we want to keep these patients out of ED because, again, capacity issue at ED as well. So we're caught in the middle. We've raised our prices once when we're here, and we need to do it again if we're going to be viable for the future. And we don't want to be doing that, because that will take us over the $100 mark for adult, which, in comparing to other places, even with the urgent care centres with funding and ACC contracts, it's it's quite good. But yeah, I'm currently working. I'm on the primary acute care expert advisory group for ACC for the new urgent care contract. It will be a primary acute care contract, which I like that term a lot better, because there is for us to. And what happened before COVID was to get that urgent care contract, you needed to meet the urgent care standard. However, that urgent care standard for our clinic was probably over capitalising. The majority of our work is that GP overflow medical side of things. There is so it's probably a 70-30, maybe sometimes 60-40 split of medical versus ACC. So yeah, for us to, and they did spend a lot of money trying to get there, and then it was all for nothing. So and now the contract's paused until July, at least, well, hopefully up to July 2025. So we just need to, survive until then, because then we can, hopefully get a contract to suit the clinical needs of the Dunedin community, which it's not, we don't need a fully fledged urgent care centre. We just need something in the middle. So hopefully that will be positive change in the future, because funding's a massive issue, and even in primary care, capitation hasn't kept up with the needs of the clinics. So yeah, we're struggling each even with the amount of people coming through, we're struggling each month, but to meet costs.
Excellent. No, that's great. And it was really good to hear, that you're looking at those gaps in the market, doing the HPV vaccinations for the unenrolled, because that's sort of, such a demand through the country, is like, where are they going to get these scripts and stuff? And they're coming to the urgent care. And then I guess bringing on those nurse prescribers, that probably, then if an unenrolled patient is just coming in to get a script because they've got nowhere else to go, they don't need to see the GP. They can just see the nurse prescriber. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's great to sort of hear the avenues you've done and everything.
Yeah. And I want people to see, because the nurse prescriber's training to be the nurse practitioner, she only needs a couple of more papers and things. So I like to to have nurses see that as a pathway, and and help them develop that. And because I think if you're doing that with your staff, then they're going to be really grateful, and they'll be just rewarded for being there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's good. We are turning people away. Like it's nice, because people are cold calling us and wanting to work here and things, and now we're by January next year we'll have only 1 or 2 contracted doctors on the books, so they'll be all employed doctors, which again, that's, you know, that ownership and people, you know, joining you as an employee, employee rather than just a contractor that tends to drop you off. Whenever like school holidays and things, it's always been hard.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, I think
Cool.
that is all of our time. I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us about this today. I do know a few other people interested, so we have recorded it so we can share that with a couple of other people that unfortunately couldn't make it just because of the time of year. But yeah, like great to, you know, sort of hear everything you've been doing. I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to tell us about it. And hopefully I'll catch up with you when I'm back down south.
Yes, yep, definitely.
Amazing. Excellent. Well,
Cool.
enjoy your
Thanks,
Christmas
everyone.
party tonight.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, perfect. All right.
Yeah,
I'll
cool.
talk to you later. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we'll do. See you.
Wow, that was quite interesting. It's always just so nice to sort of hear, you know, what other people are doing around the country, and that intersect with healthcare home is quite good. We have had a few people drop off the meeting just because they've got other whois to go to. So we just have got, we've got Sarah, Lawrence and Olivia, and then some collaborative people left. Very personal, intimate meeting. So that was sort of our main speaker for today, and just because it was, you know, it is quite a busy time of year, we didn't want to, you know, put too many on. It is just a bit of open conversation now. If the three of you have anything you'd like to ask or bring up or discuss, and then we're just doing a bit of a collaborative update, which I know we're not sort of doing it to a big group, but we have recorded it, and a few people you know, have requested to have the recording just because it also is Christmas party season. That's three different places I know that are doing a Christmas party today. So Lawrence, did you have anything you wanted to bring up, or Olivia or Sarah or Nee or Jazz?
No, I think I'm pretty good. You know, that's just Adam's, you know, presentation. I'm kind of relating to that because I used to work in urgent clinic, you know, down in up in Hamilton and in Blenheim. So yeah, so I know the struggles really, but it's good to know that, you know, he brought up about healthcare homes really, you know, so you know that the support that, you know, the program gives, which is really good.
Yeah, I think it was really beneficial with him having come from sort of that primary care healthcare home area into Whareora, into you know, urgent doctors, and because we'd already worked together, he was like, oh, can you come in and have a chat to the staff? And it was actually great to see that it does, you know, kind of spread across multiple, you know, avenues. Like it's not just, you know, medical centers, it's, you know, urgent care, and you can take parts, you know, and it works pretty much in anywhere. And yeah, and it was just interesting. I was like, oh, move the phones off the front desk. It just made a huge difference. And they were just like, I didn't even think of that. And it's just, you're so busy in your day to day that, you know, you just don't have time to sort of brainstorm those things. And then that leaves that, you know, front person at the front desk actually able to look at the patients more, because, you know, and that's the exact same as a medical center. Yeah. So it was great. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, we are running a little bit ahead of time. Yeah, Amjit is in another hui. So should we message her and say that we're a bit ahead of time, Jazz? But we could do a bit of a update from our point of view. But I did one thing I just wanted to bring up was we emailed out that benefits mapping sort of, I think it was a spreadsheet or a Word document, just asking for a bit of feedback. I'm just letting you know, we've still got a couple, maybe sort of week or two to sort of submit any feedback we had still remaining on that, and we will kind of move that piece of work forward and creating a bit more of a resource and product, you know, just for the region. But I just wanted to bring up that, yeah, we are just have got a little bit of maybe a week or so left if anybody wants to submit some more feedback on that. And then I might, let me look at my agenda. I've pulled you guys up so I can see you. Oh yes, I did a collaborative update. Happy festive season. Because that was kind of the end of the meeting. So did you have some things you wanted to run through there, Jazz, with the Amjit not being able to quite make it yet? Amazing.
Yep, I'll jump in. Do you want to just close the screen, please, Patria, so yeah, people can kind of see me. And Sarah and Olivia, I think you are still there. You can probably still hear us. So yeah, great. great that we've run ahead of time and, you know, people can kind of go off early. But yeah, Amajit did have another meeting and she probably won't be able to join us till 12:30 because I think that's when she was hoping to kind of join in a lunch break. But I can relay her messages on her behalf because I have them in front of me now. So yeah, so just wanted to give a little bit of a an update on where things are at in terms of our staff changes. I guess you've all heard the news that Amajit is leaving us to go off to manage Think Kaora. So we're really excited. Think Kaora is one of our members, and so she will still continue to have influence and have her fingers in the pie of, you know, directing our future direction and stuff as well. So yeah, it's still really exciting time. She'll just be in a different capacity, but yeah, so that's really cool. But she did ask me to relay her gratitude to you all. You know, many of you have journeyed with her through her time. I know especially you, Sarah, have yeah, been really key to her journey, and so yeah, she will be in touch with you all. But yes, she just wanted to relay that she's yeah, just really grateful for all that you've helped her with and supported the organisation with, because without you guys, you know, Collab is just us. So you are our wider team. So yeah, so that's awesome. So I guess what I just wanted to reiterate is, you know, change can bring about a lot of uncertainty and unsettlements as well. And, you know, within our organisation, you know, within Collab, there's change, but within the sector, there's change. And sometimes it can bring uncertainty and people feel a little bit destabilised. But I just wanted to give you all reassurance on behalf of the team that we are here for you. You know, so we will continue with the mahi. Patria has gone through kind of, you know, what's ahead, looking at 2024, some really exciting mahi, some really exciting partnerships as well. So yeah, just feel reassured that we are there to support you and we'll be there to help you. So reach out if you need. You know, we've kind of come up with this little program, but there may be other things that you feel actually this is more urgent. We really like you to support us with this. So please do that. And I just wanted to say as well with the board. So in terms of the organisation, our board is working on the kind of working out the appointment of our leadership. So they're doing an EOI. So once we've kind of got news of that, that it will be shared with the sector, whether it goes to your CEs and then filter down to you, because your CEs are our members. So yeah, just look out for an update on that. But I did just want to reflect on the amazing year that we've had. So while we have lost people and we are losing Amajit, we have gained amazing people like Patria and me who have just joined the team. So that's really exciting, and it's just really cool, as Patria said, joined us in July, and it's just wonderful to see the growth in Patria and in this space. So yeah, and I look forward to watching me grow in this space as well. So it's just a real privilege and honour to be a part of this team and with you guys as well. And as you know, there's been changes within us. Of course, there's been changes within our leads as well. So Lawrence, I know you've joined us as well this year, and Olivia, you've joined us this year. Well, I think you've joined us this year, but I guess I've connected with you this year. And Sarah, people like you have been on the journey for a long time. So yeah, you're almost our kaumatua and our guiding light, keeping us truthful. So yeah, so this year has been, you know, change, but you know, it's all good. But we did have some awesome events like our study tour. We had a fantastic conference as well. There will be a conference report because we did get some great feedback and some ideas of what we could be doing different for next year as well. So that will be shared through our channel somewhere. We have had some great webinars across the year, and we've had some awesome peer learning sessions as well. We did do the survey that Patria mentioned, so that will help us design what we deliver next year as well. So if you haven't done it, as Patria said, today is your last chance. So if we do finish early, feel free to go back in. What we've said also about the survey is it's not just for you guys. If there are people that work alongside you, you know, other people in your team, you know, we really welcome their thoughts as well. So feel free to share the link with others, and you can make it completely anonymous if you kind of yeah, if there's something you feel like, oh, you know, this, yeah, I really want to say this, but I don't want everybody to know. So yeah, if you're watching this on the recording, sorry, you'll be a little bit late, but yeah, we're always open to feedback. Don't just wait for a survey as well. So yeah, if you feel like you want to share something with us, please come back to us. So yeah, so in terms of looking ahead, you've heard Patria tell you all that what's in store for us in terms of supporting you, but yeah, we're forever indebted to you for supporting us as well, and yeah, we continue to well, we look forward to continuing our partnership and support with you. So have a wonderful holiday, pause, reset, whatever you want to call it, over the summer months, and we'll really look forward to reconnecting in the new year. So yeah, on behalf of the leadership team, myself and Amajit, thank you.
It's always funny, you always be like, oh, I'm on mute, but you're still on mute, so no one can hear you saying it. Thank you, Jazz. Yeah, it is great. You know, this is our last one for the year, and it has been wonderful seeing you guys on here. You know, just want to say thank you and looking forward to the next year. I mean, we're obviously still working for like, you know, another nearly month, but yeah, this is our last peer session. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I will wrap up with a karakia. Let me bring that. So just thank you, everybody, and closing karakia is ko ranganui e tunei, ko papatuanuku e toku nei, kia tau te rangi marie, ki runga e tu tātou mahitahi, haumie, huie, daikia. Amazing. Thank you, everybody. We are finished quite early, so now you can go have your lunch.
Thanks so much, Patria.
Thank you.
Ka kite.